Welcome back. This is the Valorant Game Changers Southeast Asia 2024. This is Split 2, and today is a very exciting one because we have 3 series ongoing today, starting off with the upper finals. I'm Tashmani, your host today, alongside my analyst Zach. Always a pleasure being here on desk with you. And since we both, I'm not sure if you were here yesterday, but since you just came on today,
I was watching.
Oh, you were watching, right? You were watching with me yesterday. So since we're here on the desk today, I think that we need to sort of address the elephant in the room here. XIPTO, BOBA, I would say our first series today, which is, I would say, the 2 favorites, both already making it into, game changer specific. Both teams are very, very good. XIPTO being far ahead of the rest, but can BOBA follow up to their expectations?
I hope that is the case because BOBA, I mean, yes, both of them have qualified, so that's a little bit of pressure off their shoulders. But like you were saying, Tash, XIPTO hasn't really sweated this year. I think the closest game that we've had was at 13-9 that they got in their previous game, where they still won 2-0. And on the other hand, if you look at BOBA's qualification, it's been a bit more of a rocky road. Like, yes, they made it to Pacific, but look at how they made it. Instead of a clean 2-0, it was like, what, an overtime victory after 3 long maps? That's not exactly the kind of style you want, especially if you want to go up against the likes of XIPTO in the form that they're in right now.
That's true. But for now, before we talk more about that, let's have a look at the journey and what format are we going to be looking at today.
This is the Valorant Game Changers SEA 2024. There will be 2 stages this year, Stage 1 and Stage 2. There will be an open in each stage and a group stage in Stage 2. The top 4 winners of Stage 1 will be seeded into Stage 2's group stage. The opens for Stage 1 will be held from the 26th to the 29th of March, and the playoffs will be from April 1st to the 5th. The opens for Stage 2 will be held in early July, followed by the group stage and playoffs. In Stage 1 Open, the top 8 teams will proceed to playoffs, and the top 4 teams will be seeded into the group stage of Stage 2. Stage 1 has a total prize pool of $10,000. In Stage 2 Open, the top 12 teams and the top 4 from Stage 1 playoffs will be seeded into group stage. The group stage consists of 4 teams of 4, and the top 2 teams of each group will proceed to playoffs. Stage 2 has a $10,000 prize pool. Visit gamechangers.fsl.gg for more information for Valorant Game Changers SEA 2024.
Our journey started off in March, where we looked at stage 1, where the top 8 went to playoffs in April before making it here to stage 2 to the groups in July. Now we're here in the top 8, where we are at playoffs, where the top 3 makes it to Game Changers Pacific happening in Bangkok this year. So 2 teams have punched their tickets. We are looking at XIPTO and BOBA. Both teams play today, and we're still looking for our final team.
Indeed, we are. Third place still up for grabs here. I mean, you can take a look at the 8 teams that have made it so far. Congratulations to them. Unfortunately, we did have to say goodbye yesterday to the likes of Cardboard Dinosaur and Invincible, and before that it was Lilacs and Avernus. So we are down to our top 4 here. And basically, you said attached lower bracket game today is going to decide who that final slot is between Forfun and Sisu. So that will be our 3rd team that we've revealed today. But all eyes are on that upper bracket. You know, 2 teams so far. They haven't lost a series yet in this tournament, and I mean, they are the grand finalists as well from the last time, XIPTO versus BOBA, so a lot of anticipation there.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see the anticipation, but enough about that, because we're looking at $10,000 prize pool for this tournament, where the champions will be going home with $3,500 for the whole team. Now, I think that a lot of teams, as far as I've talked to them, I think all eyes have been to qualify for Game Changers Pacific. Again, reminding everyone it's happening in Bangkok in October, where it's actually going to be a LAN. And honestly, for Game Changers, having a LAN is almost unheard of, and this is such a prestigious situation, and might also be a great motivation for these girls to actually push against whatever it is they have to achieve today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm gonna see if I'm taking a vacation to Bangkok this October, because that sounds fantastic.
I'm excited for that too.
Yeah, we might actually finally meet in IRL. Yeah,
meeting IRL, meeting the girls, right? I think it's exciting, because I think for most of the tournaments here for Game Changers, and we're talking about globally, most of the Game Changers tournaments have been taking place online, and most of them, have just been something that I think last year it was more toward APAC, where we included the South Asian region. This year, South Asia has been separated, reminding you guys once again, which means that it's just here in Southeast Asia. South Asia will be having their own, I would say, tournament. I believe they are having their own LAN. I cannot confirm that. We'll get back to you on that about that. But for Southeast Asia, there it is. And the team for Pacific, we'll be looking for a team that'll be representing the region over in Champions happening end of the year as well. But for now, let's have a look at the highlights for you guys who did not tune in yesterday. It was a pretty fast day, relatively 2 series coming up forward. That's the game.
I mean, like you said, it was a pretty quick day. Both games were 2-0s. I think to start off with, we had Sisu versus Cardboard Dinosaur here. Sisu looking pretty convincing, I would say, in both of the games that they played. I mean, that Haven map, I think it was chosen by them. I think that they've shown that they have the strategies in play to deal with it, and I think Con in particular was an absolute fire, like we just saw from that clip. I think overall Sisu had like really good map awareness, and just they seem to constantly be a step ahead of their opposition, despite, CBD making a little bit of a comeback in the later half.
Yeah, Cardboard Dinosaur was definitely a team that I think there was a lot of expectations onto them, given the fact that, some of the players are veterans. I'm talking about Envious here, who's been playing for years and years in this circuit, disappearing for about a year, going through whatever she had to do, and then coming back to the circuit, and brought a lot of chatter, a lot of energy about what she can bring to the table, especially toward last season as well. So I was really excited to be seeing that. But these 2 overall look, as you said before, very, very clean, played together. They do also have a coach, which is one of the best South Asian coaches around, which is Casts. Always a pleasure to be seeing him play. But for this team in particular, I think with the roster shuffle as well as Con coming back into the mix is very exciting, and also the swap out of the IGL Polly is also something that I was really, really excited to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think that IGL role, it was a little bit of a question as to who would step into it after Starryban left, but I'm glad that the team has adapted quite well and are able to kind of like hold their own with it. I think that on the opposite side though, I mean, this particular game, Invincible, I really felt for them. They looked like they were gonna have like a fantastic time, but then it was just Tuya going Tuya over them like that Reina round. There were some insane clutches, and yeah, well, Aisling was able to pull off moments like this to get that 2-0. Overall, I think it was a very, very close series despite it being a 2-0.
Yeah, it was a very interesting one. Aisling clutches all around, and we also saw the return of Chloe back to the big stage, not for one game but two, which I think we are very, very fortunate to see, hoping to see her again up there. But for now, let's have a look at our journey so far, where we are looking for the upper finals today, which is XIPTO versus BOBA. Winner goes to the grand finals, and the loser goes to a match 13, where they'll be going up against the loser of Sisu and For Fun. So we are going to be looking at 3 series today potentially. I'm very excited for this coming into today, because For Fun was definitely a team that honestly blew me out of the water. I was not expecting them to see. I was not expecting to see them here. Excuse me. Honestly, I mean, coming in from last season, last split, I was expecting it to be Rima once again. It's usually been the same few teams going around all over Game Changers APAC. Happy to see the amount of competitiveness coming into this tournament with players new and old. By new, I'm talking about Avernus. We saw big numbers come out from a double shotgun meta from Martin and Avernus. That was wild. And then
hey, if it works, it works.
I mean, it worked, yeah. But honestly, I was not expecting to see that. And we also saw For Fun, who did not make it here into the playoffs last split, making it here now this time with one of our own casters playing on that team. Yeah, Taylor. So that was also very, very cool. But today, obviously, Taylor will be on the other end of the spectrum. She will not be playing. She will instead be casting. But I am so excited to see what she has to say for the team. But all eyes on our first match for now, the upper finals, BOBA versus XIPTO. Now, we all know the history between these two teams. For you guys who don't know the history, we are looking at the core of XSMG, the team that made it all the way to champions last year, our representative from APAC. Their roster had sort of broken apart, one of their players joining BOBA, and a new addition coming in, which is Tara. And I really want to talk about that addition Tara with you, Zach. I think Tara, last split we saw that she was really lagging behind her team. You could tell that her team was sort of like, making up for her because she just came into the transition to the team. And we were questioning, how are they supposed to go far when one of their teammates are not able to keep up with their speed? But in split 2, she seems to have transitioned and really fit into her team very, very well. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Tara, very storied player. I mean, if you look at it historically, I mean, you talked about players taking a break. I think Tara was with that original Alter Ego roster way back in the beginning, the same team that Iter used to play for. So there is that old history as well. And, she was actually a sub on the SMG roster last year, but then stepped down. So I think that she's back now, just in full form. And I think that, like you said, she's looked much cleaner over the split too. I think that, like you said, she's found her place within the team. And I mean, if you look at all the players here on this team, every single one has like an insane history of their time in Game Changers. Like, Eneri needs no introduction. Queen of APAC, Queen of Duelists. I don't think you'll see a better jet anywhere in APAC. Although I think Alexi does give her a run for the money when she's not playing that flex player.
I agree.
To be fair, yeah.
Yeah, and I think coming into this, this tournament, I think many had eyes on them. After all, they are a team that ran a 4 duelist comp over in Lotus last year by accident. And I think till today, everyone is talking about it. We had breakdowns and so many, I think, ideas of how they've been playing, thinking it's a masterclass. But, you go back to that interview, they said, we just thought it was a ping test, we're just playing how we play. But the thing is, when you have your fundamentals in play, in set, right? Especially if you watch a video from Teets, he would also say as well about how when the fundamentals are great, you know how to kind of like play with each different agent. And that's exactly what we're looking, a masterclass of fundamentals from XIPTO. Now, looking at the other side of the coin here, BOBA, the player, Pohaibi, who had left SMG, bringing in some of the other stars here from Asia Pacific herself. Ayumi, one of the most insane, I say, duelists all around. Aluka as well from Nigma Galaxy. Baby TZ, I would say one of the best Sentinels we've seen here in Asia Pacific. And finally, their newest addition, Delvisky. What are you thinking of this roster?
I mean, I would say that this is a pretty insane roster as well. I mean, if you can't be number 1, there has to be a number 2. And right now, at least looking at the rankings statistically, this is the next best team after XIPTO. I mean, yes, XIPTO is the team that has defeated them in the past, but aside from that, they've been having pretty dominant runs through the brackets as well, both in stage 1 as well as now. I think all 5 players on this team as well, very experienced. Kohaibi, has that experience IGLing in the past, now fitting in like a charm on this roster. Ayumi and Aluka as well. Aluka, that ex-duelist player, now more of a flex role, and of course Ayumi just incredibly consistent. She's been playing the deadlock more and more, and I'm excited to see if she's going to be continuing to pick that up for this one. But I mean, for now, it's going to be our head-to-head Kamiyu versus Aluka again, like flex versus flex here, initiators usually, and yeah, it's Sky versus Breach here that we're looking at statistically. So we're more or less similar in terms of ACS. Kamiyu just a little bit higher, I would say, and the KDA is what really like blows my mind here.
Yeah, the KDA. Look how high the KDA is for Kamiyu compared to Aluka, and I don't blame them. Because for XIPTO, I think the frag potential for every individual in XIPTO is very high. So it doesn't matter who is going to be clutching, who is going to be playing what, they are going to be thriving, as opposed to BOBA, who relies a lot on support from each other's teammates. But speaking of supporting and going up in the air, we are looking at Alexi as our player to watch today. And I don't blame them. Alexi coming through as one of the most insane jets, and you mentioned it before, there are 2 jets we're looking at here, Aneri and Alexi. Everyone had eyes on Aneri, but it is time on this stage. Alexi is what we're looking at.
Yeah, I definitely love that XIPTO takes full advantage of how insane their players' aims are. They put them on like double duelists. You see them learning double duelists on so many maps. But then, BOBA has done the same thing as well in the past. And in particular, Ayumi, I think, is one of the most cracked players, if not the most cracked player on this team. I know a lot of people might like come here to disagree with me or fight me, like, yeah, Kohaibi's better or maybe TZ's better. And look, everybody can aim great, yes, but in terms of just putting down those raw frags, Ayumi is the most consistent player on this team, at least for me. Whatever she's playing, whether she's on the chamber, the deadlock, the raise as well, one of those players who just is absolutely insane no matter what role you put her on. And yeah. I mean, I think the chamber meta's downfall, it hit Ayumi the hardest, because I still remember watching Alter Ego, Aneri on Jet, Ayumi on chamber, one on each side, both of them just destroying the map. It kind of sucks that those two like are different teams now, but it's also awesome because now we get to see Aneri versus Ayumi instead of Aneri and Ayumi.
Yeah, I think we love that rivalry coming up forward here, and Ayumi being our sole representation from Malaysia is also something that I think we are also very excited about, because we all want to see all the regions here in Southeast Asia fully represented. Now, let's talk a little bit about what's going to be coming up forward here. I had a bit of a chat with Baby TZ, and she herself actually admitted that they don't feel very ready to take on XIPTO today because they feel like they have a long way to go, which I feel is a good thing. I understanding that what they can do and can bring to the table is what comes forward, but they said that they've already reached one goal, which is to make it to Pacific. So that is potentially what I'm guessing what the girls are trying to do here, which is trying to go further and forward, prepare for a bigger tournament coming up forward, which I think they have a lot of time to do so. Regardless, we are going to be looking at XIPTO Esports map pool coming forward, where they have 100% win rate on every single map they have played, but the only map they haven't played is Abyss, and I'm sort of excited to see whether or not we're going to be getting this map today.
I really would like to see it come into the video actually, but I don't think we're having it for this tournament because
I know.
They mentioned.
I forgot.
Yeah, so for those of you watching, we ain't having Abyss this tournament.
That's making me really sad.
Yeah, me too. Don't remind me. We're gonna be having it at Pacific though. I hope we get to see some teams like surprised with Pacific.
I just want to see like what Team Secret happened, right? Just fall off the side of the map. That's what happened. And okay, so pause. I'm so sorry to cut you, but we also gotta talk about BOBA, right? When you look at the perfect score record from XIPTO, meanwhile BOBA, we start to see a bit of a shake here. Icebox 50%, Bind 66.7%, and Sunset at 25%.
Yeah, I really hope we get to see these maps banned out. I also think that XIPTO doesn't really favor the Sunset as much either compared to some other maps, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that being taken out of the veto. But yeah, it's going to be imperative for this team to especially get that Sunset in particular out of the pool unless they've been putting some work on it. I also wouldn't be surprised to see them take the Icebox out as well, because even though they have like a 50% record, even the game that they won, it was low-key rocky. So I would be a little bit concerned for BOBA's map pool comparatively, though that's that said, I would expect to see them pick that Lotus going in because it is one of their stronger maps. They have like pretty dominating wins so far on it. I think they even had a 13-0. I don't remember if that was Lotus though or something else.
Yeah, now let's talk a little bit about our first map coming up forward. It's going to be Lotus, and I'm very excited about this one because the last time Boba played this map was against Avertus GC with a dominating 13-3, I believe, which I am very excited to see. So I wouldn't be surprised if we are going to be seeing Lotus in the pool. Let's see how it's going to happen here. Now, as well as I think XIPTO has been playing a lot of split as well. Again, very, very dominating for both these teams. They are very adept at this map, and we are looking at, there we go, our Lotus coming up forward. And as for XIPTO, we are going to be looking at the split. There we have it, Lotus and split. And these two maps, I have to say, for both these teams, when they both played these maps, they are very, very dominant, both ends here. But when you look at statistics wise, XIPTO, they looked also very, very incredible on that Lotus against Invincible GC. And this is a team that made them go all the way to a 13-9 on bind, which is something that I think almost unheard of, because usually I think most amount of rounds that teams can take away from XIPTO has been 4.
It's like 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, 3 or 4. So that was something that I was very excited to see as well. Finally, Haven, very excited to see this as well. So what are your thoughts on this map, Vito?
I think it's decent for Boba, honestly, because it's banned out most of their problem maps. They don't have to worry about that Icebox. They don't have to worry about that Sunset. They're starting off strong with that Lotus pick. I mean, of course, both teams so far do have that 100% win record, so it's going to be exciting to see who does go down at the end of the day. But, you know, what really excites me is that map 3 Tash, because, what, you know, Haven, while Boba has a 100% win record, so far XIPTO haven't played this map yet. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see what agent compositions they're going to be opting for, whether, you know, they're going to be bringing in something spicy like the Deadlock and Cypher that a lot of teams have started to run, or if there's going to be something else like, you know, maybe 3 duelists. I wouldn't be surprised if XIPTO decides to flex today.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised as well. I think both teams have incredible flex potentials. I mean, we've seen them play so many different agents, and I think it's been giving a lot of this, I would say, flexibility to their coaches to be able to play with so many different comps and so many different lineups. Regardless, speaking of that, we're going to be looking at our Vito right now, where we're going to be looking at the usual, I think, for XIPTO. Love the fact that both these teams are running these fades. And I think that these fades, I think they swapped roles again. There we go, we did. I think for Boba, they did swap roles again. The last time Boba played this map, it was an ISO that Delbisky was on, and I did ask you just now, right, her impact as the ISO, we didn't really see it, but now on this fade, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a role that she's probably going to be a little bit more comfortable on. I think that Boba was just feeling confident that time, you know, with that ISO pick. I wasn't really expecting to see it today, especially against a team like XIPTO. I mean, I think that the Fade just provides much better utility. You can get some cheeky wall bangs in, really, really high info agent, and it combos well with the Raze as well. So a lot of nice utility combos that Boba can pull off. What worries me is that XIPTO is starting off on defense here, and they have a very, very strong defensive comp. They've got that double controller, they've got that Killjoy, again with the Fade for info, and of course Idari is going to be on Raze. She's going to be pushing at least one lane for sure out of 3, so there's a lot that Boba have to worry about starting off, even though they're starting off on attack here, which is their stronger side, I would say.
Yeah, regardless, let's have a look at what we're going to be seeing today. Super, super exciting comp for a super, super exciting game. Ladies and gentlemen, eyes on the screen, because now our casters will be taking the stage. Woohoo!
Thank you, Tash, Bunny, and Zach. It is I, Realize, and my amazing partner, of course, Taylor, or well known as Terrar, the ex-pro player once that I actually knew about the fact, and I had to ask Tash and Zach, and yeah, they confirmed it. So yeah, we have amazing players turned casters, so that viability is there. And now we are going to enter our first series of the day, Boba versus XIPTO. This is like the El Clasico. This is like the long-awaited match, and it happens in the upper final. So there's still a possibility that they might meet again in the grand finals.
Actually, the same thoughts I had before we started this, and we didn't even talk about it as well, right? It's the El Clasico matchup that we're looking at here. It's a rematch that we've seen from stage 1 here, and finally, again, it's XIPTO versus Boba, and I feel like Realize when it comes to these two teams, it's actually pretty much not one-sided, I would say. It's more of a team that would actually, or it's both of the teams that we have right here that have experiences coming in and really loaded coming in from all the VCT game changers that we've had from the previous time.
Yeah, they are indeed, seasoned with experience. I mean, we're talking about the XIPTO esports back on the SMG days, back on their SMG core, with Kahibi now departing towards BOBA. They were exposed to that LAN, experience. We've been talking about this multiple times. They have been facing top tier teams from Team Liquid up to Evil Geniuses, where they ran a 4 duelist comm and they still rocked the stage. So I think nerves and all that, it's not going to be a problem for them, especially later on Elite. We will have to play on LAN in Bangkok, and I don't really think they will be phased by the fact that they have to play on that stage. So yeah, experiences there, especially now they're bringing in back Terra, like Zach said, has been there in that Alter Ego Celeste roster back in like 2021. So it was still far days back then, and now they have to face again. So I feel like that experience is going to be there. But it's also very, very nice to see, the rise of Dilbisky. I would say the regeneration of the game changer scene, because we do need regeneration in this scene as well.
There's so much iteration coming in from the teams that we have, but pretty much a lot of familiar names still. As we start off here on our first match, and we have the pistol coming in. Ayumi already quickly shut down here, all the way towards a rubble, and that side contested pretty much from XIPTO.
Yeah, this one-way smoke will really buy some time. Only trying to control mound area, and Shirazi has to be the brick wall. On C side, the paranoia is there, but the nano swarm is perfect. Terra and Shirazi hand in hand in unison will try to take down a Luca as Shirazi just dances back in the pillar, and she strikes the hearts of BOBA with 2 and 3 kills. The bullets coming in hot, and XIPTO, they acquire that prerequisite, which is the pistol round.
Yeah, not other than that, the prerequisite when it comes to this round as well, realize you have the setups on C prepared for every entry possible. And even when it comes to A rubble, which is heavily contested coming in from the teams, to really create that space to plant the spike, they were not able to win the duel, and Ayumi was actually the first one to fall down there, which was their duelist. But heading here on our second round here, just a quick round for the first, but on the second, Ineri catches one already with her Outlaw.
Nice kill, of course, with the Outlaw, one of the best anti-eco weapons to date. Thank Riot for this, but of course now for XIPTO, they will still fortify that stronghold up in A and also in C. B site only given to Alexi to control this. She steps closely, and Baby TZ with Kahibi will try to rendezvous with the other players of BOBA, and this could be chaotic up in B site. The spray down connects. Alexi good for the third, but Kahibi will put her down, and this will only be a round where Alexi will die, because XIPTO now on the hunt, looking to take down Kahibi with the Outlaw, as it is connecting for Enery. And XIPTO gets the 2. They breeze past BOBA.
Very clean rounds coming in from XIPTO as well. And you see their 6th man working its way. The turret was paving the way basically for that contact play here towards B main. And Alexi is just there to take the shots in while they're getting tagged by the turret. Well executed coming in from XIPTO. And also at the same time, good read coming in from Alexi as well, and prepared.
Yeah, well prepared by Alexi there to just play off of the contact of the turret. So that was an easy round as well, because BOBA couldn't really splurge on better weapons. But now they're looking to carve another path towards B, where Alexi is. Again, the executor. There goes the head of Baby TZ. Dome cracked as the Prowler will prowl towards Shirazi and Alexi. But now backup comes in. The C's will put him in place. Ayumi looking for the entry now, but I feel like there will be a shift of avenues, a shift of trajectory for BOBA, as they are still sensing which side is the most logical to hit.
It's still a 2-2-1 split here coming in from XIPTO. Someone watching over A main as well, but the rest of the players from BOBA just all gathered around towards B main. They open the doors, try to maybe make a pincer happen, maybe a pick-off even, but they're still waiting for the smoke to dissipate. And once that smoke dissipates, the paranoia is ready for the action here from Kamiyu. A lot of the players already inside, and XIPTO willing to give that space out for that retake scenario they're preparing.
Yeah, Delbisky with the spike plant. And now XIPTO will have to play the retake still with utilities left, right, and center. Meanwhile, Alexi just caved in with the Sheriff, throws away the Haunt, with Kamiyu and Luca both getting a single kill. Alexi will be able to hold as long as ever with a triple kill, and Henry with the sniper, or the outlaw rather, and a very, very easy retake for XIPTO. Without even breaking a sweat, maybe just losing the smokers, Kamiyu and Shirazi in that process.
I mean, at every point of the map here, from A to C, it seems like XIPTO is more than prepared. Again, they were willing to give out that space. They were willing to play for that retake scenario, making sure at least they have rubble control, they have C-long control. Everyone's just stuck at that point coming in towards B main. Not really much of a space even towards upper or even towards B link here. And BOBA still fumbling around the map here as they go for an eco yet again.
Yes. Oh, but Ayumi with the one tap. Henry is down. A shrouded step play though coming in from Kamiyu. She will get punished for that. And Alexi will pull one back. Still advantages for XIPTO in terms of the trade kills. As now the Haunt coming in from Alexi will charge up the recons. And BOBA, they will still accept this trade with open arms because they lost Kamiyu, they lost Henry in the side of XIPTO, but for BOBA, only Delbisky down, and they still have the explosive power in the hands of Kahaibe and Ayumi.
Yeah, look at this though. Tara very deep onto flank here, and she knows where the alarm bot is as well. Once this pings out, they would know there's gonna be a flank, but it's still a possibility. They're able to really consider how close the site would be. Shirazi, she catches one here. 12 HP remaining onto her. Still managed to pull off the second. Now we're left with a 2v1 scenario. Kohaivi with a Vandal here, at least for the time being. Tara all the way from flank. And BOBA pretty much aware of the situation.
Tara has to lead by example. The in-game leader, of course, the captain of XIPTO. Will she be able to wave the flag high? And as for BOBA, they are trembling with fear because they need a round more than ever. The contact play made. Tara spotted out as the spike all exposed, but below her is Baby TZ waiting in hell. And she will drag the first round for BOBA as XIPTO. They concede their first round in the series.
A good thrifty round as well coming in from BOBA here. Goes to show how they can find and really win those aim duels that we're looking at here. Again, with the Sheriff shots coming in from Ayumi and Aluka. This is also not new to us as well. They have to be really wary and careful about these types of scenarios, despite having that big of an advantage, especially when it comes to the guns that they bring or they brought to the table. Still wasn't enough as long as they find these kinds of first pickoffs. Ayumi though, tagged up here by the Haunt, but at least the space was taken.
Yeah, a scary operator play there. Almost able to catch a player off guard, and Kamiyu will play the wall banks. Of course, the walls in Ascent, or rather in Lotus, both in Ascent and Lotus, thin as paper, and Aluka with the perfect blind will be able to catch Kamiyu. That in regards towards the Yumi, satchel into the site, Henry dancing around with death, bringing it into the face of Delbisky as heads and bodies fall inside of a just left towards Baby TZ to cradle into the fight, and Shirazi will take her down the triple kill by the anchor of XIPTO as they get the fourth round, and BOBA not able to continue their winning trend.
This time around, they were willing to really throw out a lot of utility play here just to make sure that BOBA doesn't have that much of a space towards the site itself. And there he had a good stop coming in from that operator, plus the showstopper being pulled out as well. And BOBA just couldn't take the space in. Again, with that much firepower, aside from that, with that much utility play, it's just pretty difficult to really catch some of the players here from XIPTO. Again, this operator in play, but Alucard quickly shuts that down.
Yeah, it's a very nice tap to Dome, but Alexi still the execution happening in Mound, popping up the not dead yet. That's the glove, has that extra life as they sprint towards C site. Gahaibi with the smoke, looking to play aggressively because she has to refresh her life. She will not be able to do just that. Camille will punish the overextension from BOBA, and now it's just Aluka left alone in this world of hurt, having to deal with the dead bodies of her teammates. Aluka already looking at the right angle, their waterfall all exposed, unblinded. Aluka looking to make the shot, but she doesn't really get it as the quad kill is presented for Camille.
Too many targets there, realize. Same time, they hopped out as well, and XIPTO made enough that of a distraction to make that operator not connect. In the end, I think they would also have that opportunity to make the trade happen anyway. But you see these types of fights, that the duels coming in from BOBA, that you know that they can actually win those duels and really create that enough of a chaos for XIPTO to rotate around and maybe pull that rotation away. But at the same time, it's more of XIPTO really being prepared on how they make retake scenarios happen here. They're aware of the roles that they are pertained to, so it's more about the preparation here as well.
Yeah, they have to be able to play more reactively towards what XIPTO is going to bring towards them. However, for BOBA, they have to slow down the pace. Getting that side was more than enough, but they wanted more, and sometimes greed can kill you. Patience is virtue. For Yumi, she will be devoted to that, playing this slowly. Again, the same wallbang spot for Camille. And now the operator pass towards Aneri. She'll be enough, or mobile enough to play with this, but the spike still. And Rubble looking to just pop the showstopper with the Nightfall as well, controlling B side as they get into the site with the spike yet to be planted. Now it is going to be planted though. Ayumi looking for someone, but the rocket won't catch anyone. Retake now for XIPTO.
They move way back to make that space for that showstopper, but this Angels will push players. BOBA outside, Prowler right in front of them. A mismatch of a situation for Shirazi. Good for 4, and now hunting for the 5th here, going in for the ace. 2 HP remaining, but a baby TZ ready to stop them to their toes. It's a double for her. She still has that swarm to cancel the defuse, and she gets the double. Now for the ace, is she gonna get it? The defuse is there. It's done and over. XIPTO takes the round.
A swing of momentum, a roller coaster of a round. Shirazi with the huge quad kill, but then baby TZ, hook, line, and sinker back with another quad kill as well. Sadly though, her fate sealed with that spike stick, and this time around she can't twist fate. But of course, for Camille, with full faith into sticking the spike, what was that? Insanity. Insane round, and BOBA now left seething their swords, and Henry looking to make a play again. The marksman of XIPTO, and now he's farming bodies left and right. Welcome to the XIPTO apocalypse as BOBA stared down, sipped down, and XIPTO enjoy a cup of boba and a milk tea as well. Put it into the side.
It was the perfect C's combination to push through here, coming in from XIPTO. It came in a little bit late just to make sure players are already in. And Camille, that was her cue to hop out and get the kills in alongside with the rest of the teammates. It's a 7-1, and XIPTO here, I feel like they show some of the strats coming in, some of the execution play, but at the same time, they just don't repeat it as much. That's why BOBA can be caught off guard.
Yeah, they were oblivious of what happened, and Henry, with that first shot, was just causing a commotion, and then gave Camille the space and time to just peek out alongside Alexia as well. All in symphony. for XIPTO. Now Yumi looking to open up more space this vast majority of the time. She loses out, but no, she won't this time. As she beats down Terra to a pulp. And meanwhile, Waterfall, we've got a brawl for Terra. Rather for Luca. Looking to open up space. The Haunt connects and the lockdown is here. This is getting more chaotic for BOBA.
It's the pulse plan set up here, and Aluka catches one by one. BOBA was able to execute that perfectly as well. And again, these are the types of situation that BOBA can get away with a flawless round. If you have that enough of a space, if you get that first pick off and make it happen, this is exactly what kind of scenario they're facing after. Plus that lockdown to really secure that pulse plan scenario, it was done and dusted at that point. It's a 7-2 here, Realize, and XIPTO, they do have a Nightfall to be used for the next round, or if they must need it.
Yeah, that Nightfall still very viable. Again, a contest towards Rubble, but Henry will be the sacrificial lamb. No, she won't. She'll get taken down. As Camus and Henry both losing their own lives. Kaibi gone, but the smoke still up and running for Luca. And BOBA just looking for another trajectory to just dive in and look for a potential site to hit, and that side would be C. This time around, XIPTO on the pedestal, having to clutch this one out and re-seize the control of C side.
Very deep towards C is what BOBA is, or where BOBA is right now. Han wouldn't find anyone here as well. XIPTO playing more on the outer skirts of the site here. As the Nano Swarm comes in, it doesn't delay the plant as well. Aluka prepared for that paranoia. Once the retake scenario, or once the sound cue is definitely on towards site. Tara trying to position herself here. Turrets out, the paranoia settling in. That's a perfect execute again coming in from BOBA here. So many players left and right. It's just hard to concentrate. It's a 7-3.
That's more like it for BOBA. This time, they fight fire with fire. They brought all the guns blazing. Down in A main, the Rubble control was there, and they contested for it. They won it this time. Having taken down Camille, who was distracted with the Haunt, and she had to shoot it, and got taken down as well in that process. So BOBA, a very, very good round coming in from them. And this time XIPTO, they have to play with minimalistic weapons. And this could just eat them up from the inside as BOBA, they could look for a fourth here.
Sheriffs onto XIPTO here, putting them onto a position they don't want to be really in, and rarely do we see them as well doing eco rounds here, Realize. So
yeah,
that is something, especially if you want to make it at least to a 7-5, which is pretty much possible. And Harry, very deep, he still manages to catch that one. Now with the showstopper, she finds another. And again, this eco, they're just finding so much value.
The eco is insane coming in from XIPTO. They concede 2 kills, but they are able to bring down 3 players of BOBA. However, Delbisky with the reply. Still a 2v2. The spike guarded, falling in the arms of the players of XIPTO. But this time around, BOBA, they have that ultimate from the Omen, from the shadows. Will look to reclaim the spike, bringing it back to C side. A momentary respite for XIPTO, or for BOBA rather. But XIPTO on the hunt, on the pounce, looking to crush them down again. The paint shells ready for Henry with the boombot as well towards their right. They clear up the angle. No, they didn't check. Delbisky unnoticed.
So much further.
As she is clouded in covertness, BOBA get yet another round.
It was a 50-50 at that point, Realize. It was just a matter of how you execute that retake scenario. And with leaving a gap towards the left side, not checking it, even with a boom bot, it just allowed them to really catch players here from XIPTO. And aside from that, players from BOBA didn't know that this is going to be the double flank coming in as well. They had some pretty good plans here, pretty good thoughts coming in from that retake scenario, but it just didn't work out in their favor. On being used, a lot of utilities to play around with, but they're too busy looking around now. Showstopper out for BOBA. Yumi catches Kamiyu here, and now another one one bites the dust as Alexi closes off with a triple kill. That is the halftime that we have here realized. Now we have to pass it on to our panelists, Tash and Zach. What do you think about this?
There we go. Very, very good and dominant. Oh, I think we went back to the wrong camera. There we go. Coming back to us. Hi, Zach. Welcome again here to the panel, halftime panel, where we are going to be looking at an 8-4 half. I would say it's a very respectable scoreline coming up forward. 4 very looking good. And to me, I think that the change in comps is very, very noticeable for both these teams. I think both teams have really come to bring their A game today.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that despite a very rough start for the side of BOBA, they were able to kind of like bring things back here. They had a couple of really good rounds towards the end, and of course that Thrifty was absolutely bonkers, the individual headshots from the shows. But yeah, I think XIPTO, strong defense. I think Shirazi and Kamyu both were like absolutely on fire today, hitting some really nice multi-kills to be able to keep rounds dominant. I think Shirazi in particular is going to be a little bit miffed about missing that ace, but overall I think that even though in the beginning BOBA didn't have an answer for XIPTO's aggression and their strats, I think that they were able to make some executes work out. And I'm interested to see how they're going to be dealing with XIPTO on attack here, because you know on defense, XIPTO is one thing, but on attack they're a whole other beast.
Yeah, I agree with you, because XIPTO loves to be able to control the tempo and the flow of the game. Also, really like the game of control coming in. Both teams are trying to assert control, especially toward Mound and Rumble. But both teams are capable of bringing that, I would say, thrifties all around. So aim duel wise, it's just looking a little bit better for XIPTO. Let's see whether or not they'll be able to do so in the second half. So we're gonna be going back to our casters, Eliza as well as Realoys. What do you guys think? And I do not know where the accent came from.
Haha, Pilsky.
Cheers, mate, for that toss and analysis. And now I'll try my best.
I'm half British and I can't even do the accent.
Now I'll try my best to catch that with the accent. I'm sorry, guys. I'm learning my best from Pilsky. Gonna turn out the Bobby, mate. But now, of course, for XIPTO and BOBA, 8-4. It's closer than you think it is, because at least BOBA for the last 3 rounds they're able to fight back. Taylor.
Yeah, they were even able to take Thrifties away from XIPTO here. So that's a statement pretty much to itself. And honestly, as early as this, as much rounds as you want to get, especially if you're on the downside, you want to get that 8-4. Make sure you get the pistol round and make things a little bit more even. So this is a very important pistol coming in from BOBA, especially this is their map pick as well.
Yeah, this map pick of theirs, but people would argue that Lotus is much more attacker-sided. Of course, for XIPTO, still under so much clandestinity, unscathed and unfazed, will they look to hit C-side, looking to break the turret and the side wide open, cracked easily by XIPTO as they look to just plant the spike. Still taking their time though. It's planted from Mound, and this will provide them with so much good post-plant situation. However, they want to push even further into the site, deep beneath, down waterfall. They get 3 kills in an instant as Aluka is able to pull one back, looking for the second one, facing off against Alexi. Alexi losing her head. 3v2 now as they decimate the players of XIPTO as Enemy dances forth with Terra. And XIPTO with the 9th round, will they be able to conquer and subjugate BOBA?
The confidence to just push through, especially having deep of a contact towards waterfall when none or some of the players are still rotating for that retake scenario. They weren't prepared for them to duel immediately towards Kamyu and alongside another player as well, ready for the trade up. So again, for XIPTO, it's more of a take towards the site and making sure they have control of very important and impactful positions here.
Yeah. Of course, that BOBA contest again, looking to just blind out the players of BOBA, they're stacking 4 to 5 players up in the mid, close range. Hobbit control looking to be seized, but the seize will catch the players of XIPTO. No, it won't. Delbisky getting a kill with the Sheriff. Camille, though, roars to life, but Delbisky with the double kill, looking to tap even more heads. And Enery, shrouded and cowered with fear, looking to pull another one.
There.
But now the players of BOBA, they slow down the pace.
Oh, she knows she's gonna peek again, and Eri just waiting for the perfect timing here. They go for a smoke here, coming in from Kohibi to help a little bit and alleviate that pressure coming in from XIPTO, but they're forced to rotate here, realize, and it's a 3v4. Again, despite the eco disadvantage here for BOBA, it seems like they've won a control.
Yeah. Control all in the hands of BOBA, but what is control when your enemy is going to control something else? That other side is going to be won purely by XIPTO. Nannery opening up the space, Spike Planet 4v3 with enough weapons for XIPTO to work with. Meanwhile, for BOBA, they're able to claim 2 Spectres, and they could inflict enough damage to the players of XIPTO. But Camille with the peak, lightning fast, and Alexi will put down 2 players in an instant as well. XIPTO, they tiptoe towards 10.
It's a double-digit scoreline here, and we all know what double-digit scoreline means. There's not much gap, there's not much, I would say, like cushion coming in here for BOBA to really make mistakes happen coming into the next rounds. They might have won that pistol, that duel coming in, but XIPTO, I do like the thought here for both of the teams that we have right now. Realize they're willing to duel it out, and really the best woman to catch everyone off, then that's gonna be the player standing alive.
Yeah. Every now and then for BOBA, and they are always so active in the control and in the defender side, especially that choke point of rubble, so pivotal for them to win. For XIPTO, even if they were able to win, they're only left with 2 rifles because of how economically they're spared. But Enery will pick down Ayumi. Ayumi having to just meet her demise, and Shirazi as well shooting Delbisky down. Aluka, will she be able to do the heavy lifting? She TPs away safely into a better spot, better position. No, it isn't, because this the recon connects towards her. She's bleeding, teeming with fear as BOBA, they lose and relinquish control of A side. XIPTO control everything.
Luka's still in a good position here to catch someone maybe, but that's not gonna happen as Alexi shuts down 2, and now they're ready to plant the spike here, but Baby TZ just perfectly towards that timing towards Shirazi. Now with that swarm, she knows there's gonna be another player towards A main, and that's Tara. They know it, and she wants to duel it, she wants to fight it, she wants it, but at the same time, there's just too much players from XIPTO here.
Yeah, too many things to deal with, and you might not feel it, Taylor, but it is already 11-4, and I feel like it's a very close, not close, but like it's very fast. But the fights are so close, it feels like it's not fast enough, you know? Like it still feels close because the trades keep on coming, the shots they hit meticulously, so close down to the wire, but sometimes, you know, XIPTO always asserting dominance, and for BOBA, they have to eco, so indirectly, this could be match point for XIPTO because they have far better arsenals.
They have a stronger firepower here, as you said. And aside from that, with XIPTO willing to really duel it down, as much as the timing doesn't favor Tara here, by the way, they will catch her. They will catch her perfectly. That's a triple flank happening right now, and XIPTO is a little bit aware of that situation, scenario. They have 1 rubble control here, and Inari already catching Aluka as well.
Yeah, 2 kills, quick to the response from XIPTO. They are caging in BOBA, unable to enter the choke points, and it's just gonna be Kohibi left to her own devices. And what can she do under the pressure of 3 angry players? as they want to close out the map as soon as possible to get that first series, to get their foot on the grand finals. And XIPTO, one win away from Lotus.
Match point.
Hard to isolate those fights, especially in a 3v1 scenario here. But as much as the rounds are going here, realize, I actually just realized that Alexi is already at 22 kills.
Wow, that's a lot.
Coming into this match so far. And again, you've seen her connect the C's perfectly a while ago. I do feel like XIPTO and BOBA, when it comes to aim duel, they can go hand in hand together. They can actually fight each other. But when it comes to utility execution here, XIPTO has the upper hand.
Yeah, they always do. And C-Mount clash. 2 kills, traded back to 2. 3v3 now. And Alexi will just pull herself back. Retreat, retreat, retreat. No need to further contest this because Baby TZ still lingering in the shadows, and this time it's gonna be Delbisky tasked with a heavy work to do, and she won't be able to step up to the occasion. She'll lose us out, and there will be a teleport coming in from Aluka. This time around, the layer is there for her, but can she hold as long as she could? The Seas catches her, the headshot connects, she dances into the wide open, and Alexi catches him. 2v1 now, 12-4, and this could be the end for BOBA and Lotus.
Very low on the HP though is Shirazi. Very much doable for Baby TZ here to make a clutch happen. They still don't know, not aware how close she might be here. Alarm bot, one tap to the spike to try and force out enemy lines, but no one tries to peek and swings out. Again, very low on the HP is Alexi and Shirazi here. Baby TZ has to have that spike right now and prepare for the duel. She takes one down. Now it's all up to Alexi. She could just make the pressure happen. 4 bullets remaining, and it's just the perfect amount of bullets to not let XIPTO take the win away.
They're still in this game, needing a rebreather, and they do just that. XIPTO not able to celebrate just yet as BOBA. This is all in courtesy of Aluka as well. Getting Terra in that process makes it a 1v2 with Shirazi and Alexi already low. Baby TZ, of course, just babysits these players. And this time for XIPTO, they have the showstopper coming in from Henry. So I feel like if they win the first lane, this could be very scary for XIPTO, or for BOBA rather. However, BOBA do have the lockdown.
It's gonna be a lot of fight when it comes to a Rubble here. Realize this might be the winning moment or another round as one gets shut down and tucked away. That's Camus, one of their controllers here. They still do have that wall from Shirazi, but at the same time, you want that Omen smokes.
Yeah, they have to be content with the Viper smokes only, and this smoke already placed for conditioning. Usually, it always put this smoke in a site to just lure out and condition the players of BOBA or the defenders to make them have that false sense of security. But this time they want to re-engage. The showstopper connects. Terra does gets one kill. Aluka still dancing in the wide and in the open, and it's just Alexi having to clutch this one out. Baby TZ again having to be the last woman standing. And Baby TZ and Alexi, a repeat of previous rounds, but Alexi calls the bluff and loses out. Baby TZ catches her in the open, and BOBA, they're able to get half a dozen of rounds.
And it also forced Alexi to use that Nightfall as well. Coming into the next round here, XIPTO might not have enough money in the bank, and at the same time, like I mentioned, it's gonna be a lot of fights coming into a Rubble. BOBA has always contested that. Majority of the times, they've tried to win it as well, and so far, they've been winning those rounds, which are very essential, very important for the team, knowing that XIPTO is already on a match point. This time around, though, realize, I think they're gonna try making a split C take happen here.
Yeah. C would be very, very viable. But then again, how do they deal with BOBA already able to grab the momentum, holding it, gripping it, 5 fingers, both hands, and they won't be able to relinquish this momentum as well. But for XIPTO, they want to claw it away from them. They want to be able to just close this one out because if you give BOBA an inch, they could take a mile away from you. Baby TZ presents herself, looking for the headshot. The backup isn't on time, and Ayumi gets spotted out with the blind as well. Enery making her way inside. It's gonna be Kahibi holding her ground, having to execute her former teammates. Will she be the shadow of her former self? However, though, XIPTO, they are not going to be able to enter C-side. Access locked.
So chaotic.
And they rotate out towards A-side.
It is chaos inside this map, but the chaos out of that, the silence coming in from Skamiu as she goes and take from the shadows, bring the spike towards A and plant it, make the setups happen. And XIPTO already well aware of this plan. They're already wrapping around A side, one anti-flank coming in, and they're prepared to take this duel against Delbisky. On the other hand, up above, heaven above, there's gonna be two players coming in. Kamiu waiting patiently for Kohibi to hop out. Despite that, not dead yet. She's definitely dead this time around. It's a 2v1 and Delbisky left to clutch this moment.
Oh, the haunt in her hands, having to refresh first. Kamiu spots her out, spraying down Delbisky. A 1v1 situation. There is no way that BOBA is able to win this. Time is running out, and Shirazi will close this map. XIPTO 13-6 after what was a prolonged game. BOBA still able to cling on, but their grips slowly loosening. And XIPTO, they bring and close out BOBA's pick, which is Lotus.
They were willing to take fights after fights after fights coming into this matchup. But then again, I still stick to what I said a while ago. I feel like it's more of the utility play coming in here from XIPTO that really brought the win on the table itself. Because if you think about it, like you mentioned, the score might be that huge of a gap, but at the end of it, realize the aim duels were close.
That's true. I mean, like everyone was shooting, to be honest. Again, like we said, it felt like a marginal scoreline, but the game in and of itself felt very close to one another. We didn't even, realize, and we didn't even take note of the scoreboard or the kills that Alexi was able to rack up. 22, 24. There was a lot of kills happening left, right, and center. But of course, we want to hear what our panelists has to say. So Tash and Zach, take it away.
Thanks very much, guys. In the light of that chaos, we saw a usual game of Valorant from both XIPTO and BOBA. Both teams very, very aggressive. And what's more interesting is the fact that what Eliza said just now about the utility usage. Love seeing how it worked out for them. We see a lot of protocols come through, but what is it that's lacking from BOBA, you think, Zach?
I think the biggest difference was just the speed of trades. I think that both teams were excellent. I think that yes, I apologize for that little mic stuff. Ooh, it wouldn't be broadcast with that one. But anyway, back to what XIPTO are doing. I think that their trades are absolutely excellent, and they always seem to have a backup plan, even if the strat doesn't work out. If the spike gets dropped, they have an Omen ult. If they want to rotate, they're able to make that call very quickly. And again, they just seem to have the reads overall. I think that individually we had some really great moments coming out from BOBA. I think Baby TC clutched like 2 rounds in a row to be able to keep them going and deny the game ending at like 13-3 or 13-4. And of course, Ayumi had some really insane entries as well, both in those 30 sheriff rounds as well as with like rifles and even her ult at some point. But yeah, I think at the end of it, there was just too many multi-kills coming in for these players. Some of them were lineups, some of them were just insane spray transfers and good positioning. But overall, I think when you have like Alexi or Shirazi getting 4 kills without being traded, you just can't do anything at that point, right?
Yeah, every single player from XIPTO is cracked, but the same could be said about BOBA. But the potential of XIPTO to be getting these multi-frags is definitely, I think, a problem that they're facing here, because there are so many rounds that a lot of the opening picks were taken out by, say, Delbisky, or even, say, Aluka, or even Ayumi. But it's the mid-round calls that really change the trajectory of those, I would say, of those man disadvantages for XIPTO. because you see these frag potentials coming in from Kamayu, from Shirazi, Alexi, and it's terrifying to think that every single one of these players can easily equalize around. Now, coming up forward here, I do agree with you about Baby TZ. Definitely one of those players that you can rely on when push comes to shove. Again, around 18 and 19, both in a row, Baby TZ being able to clutch that out, and also forcing those 1v1s and also ults as well by Alexi. The Nightfall she is able to use really shows a lot of respect that XIPTO has for her itself. Regardless of 13-6, regardless of the big disparity in points, each round has been very, very chaotic, sometimes very, very close.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at all the fights that happened, most of the kills that came through for XIPTO were at that Rebel area. I think that it was constantly under contention. I think that both teams really wanted to like maintain control of it, especially because it's such a crucial choke point that can be used to deny rotations later in the round. I think even one of those rounds we saw Delbisky trying to hold an off angle against 3 XIPTO players, but yeah, it didn't really work out. But yeah, just insane control on that A side main, whether they were on attack or defense. And overall, I think that while the entire team was crazy, Alexi on Fade was the MVP. Like, it wasn't just her popping off, which she was, like 2.5 KDA on the Fade, 300 ACS, absolutely crazy, but it was a utility as well. She was providing so much value for the team. Her haunts were constantly catching people, really catching them out of positions, forcing them to break it, kind of giving like an Eri or whoever else is speaking like a free kill there. So just insanity, in not just in terms of like raw aim, but also in terms of like strats and utility usage.
That's right, but having a look at the game earlier, we're supposed to look at the highlights. Yeah, there we go. Now, coming into this game, I think both teams had insane thrifties coming forward. Both teams very, very sharp. In fact, I think round 4 was the thrifty round that BOBA was able to take back after losing their buy round, after losing the pistols. Now, but the thing is, when you look at these rounds and these fights, this map is heavily reliant on control, whether it be the mount control or even the control of Rumble. You're always going to be seeing those fights. But what we like seeing from XIPTO is the fact that whenever they take a site or an area, it's always been as a 5. It's rare to be able to see them just go 1 or 2. And the biggest problem that BOBA faces is that they're not sure which site they're going to be hitting. So whenever they try to contest this control, it's a 2 against a 5 or a 3 against a 5. It's really hard to deal against that firepower.
Yeah, definitely. I think that point you made about the synergized pushes was definitely right. I think that they were able to like really just take them by storm. You know, you peek, Eri gets 2 players, you finally take her down, and you try to repeat, clear it out, and there's like 3 more people waiting to peek at you. So like you said, just really insane synergy in that aspect. What really worries me here, Tash, is that this was BOBA's map. This is the one that they came prepared on. They had 100% win rate on, and it didn't go their way. So heading into their opponent's map pick on Split, it's going to be a little bit rough. Like, yes, BOBA has had good games in the past on this particular map and made it close, in fact, but it's still going to be a very, very challenging uphill battle in that map number 2.
That's right, Split is going to be a tough one for BOBA, but let's see whether or not they're going to be able to take this away. But we'll be right back to the Valorant Game Changers C. We'll see you guys in a little while. XIPTO showing dominance of map 1, Boba's map pick, but let's see whether or not they're going to be doing so on their own, which is going to be split. This is the Valorant Game Changer Southeast Asia. Tash, Bunny, and Zach here on the panel to say hi to you guys as we break down the game. Now, coming into map number 2, we're going to be looking at split. This is XIPTO's strongest map. I think they have been undefeated on this map for so long right now. The last 2 times they played this map, they won it 13-2 and 13-3. The only team to have really challenged them on this map was in the open qualifiers of Split 1, and it was BOBA with a 13-9.
It's been a while since then, yeah, but they were able to kind of make a difference against it. It was a very close game, like you said, and they were running a really interesting team comp then as well with the Paper X style triple duelist when they last faced off against XIPTO on Split. So I'm going to be interested to see if they're going to be kind of repeating that, because they've been kind of changing around their comp. They did run 4 duelists in the group stage, sorry, 3 duelists, a Breach, and a Clove in the group stage. I don't know if they're going to be continuing to stick with that, but I do hope they stick with that. You know, at least it'll be a little bit exciting to watch. But
yeah,
XIPTO on the other hand, they've been pretty stable in their team comp. They haven't really like messed around too much. You know, Cypher, Jet as their solo duelist, Omen as the controller. They also do run the Raze along with the Jet, although it feels like Inari on Raze is actually a little bit quieter than Alexi on Jet. I know this sounds scandalizing, Inari quiet, but Alexi is the explosive bombshell on this map, which is usually rare, because on Split, it's the Razes that you see kind of like popping off, but Alexi on Jet, especially when she gets that operator, which she doesn't really do, she likes to push more from what I've seen, but I digress, she's pretty scary.
Yeah, I think it also talks a lot about their personalities as well. Neri, very quiet in real life, and Alexi, very yappy person. So yeah, I think it translates as well to their gameplay. Now, coming back to BOBA, there is something that I really like that they highlighted, which was the comps for BOBA. They played so many different comps here. I'm talking about ISOs, Yorus, Breaches, Skies, and even Sages. It's really hard to pinpoint what they play, and they've been doing this for quite some time now, especially on tour this year, where I feel like they've been trying to really keep what they really want to use under wraps, understandably so, but when you are that adept at using these many agents, you can get away with it. And this is also something that XIPTO has done before. Regardless, let's see whether or not we're going to be seeing some exciting agents here in the comp. Now, the track record for XIPTO is incredibly strong. I need 100% win rate, but their attack side is what you really want to watch out for, because against Lilacs, they went 11-1 on attacks half.
Yeah, they're really strong on attack. Like we were talking about, that double duel is just incredibly powerful. They've got a very versatile team comp. Like the only real flaw of this is that it doesn't have like a proper anchor sensor like the Cypher that Koibi tends to play. But overall, it's a very flexible comp. Again, they like to go in with that double controller. Shirazi on the Viper this time around, really incredible in terms of lurk, like just in terms of map control, even on attack. You know, Shirazi is constantly the thorn on their side. I think one of the things you were highlighting, Tash, was on that previous map how they like to play as Fi and stick together. Well, at least historically on this map, Shirazi is the demon in the dark. You do not know when she's going to be coming out lurking from mid, from, you know, your own spawn to come and tap you in the head while you're fighting the rest of her teammates. She is what you have to watch out for on this map, because she can just find so much value with just crucial timing.
Let's talk about her counterpart, Baby TZ, also on that Viper. I think for a while now, Baby TZ, we've known her more for her ciphers, for her for her chambers, yep, as well. And it's Sentinels in general, right? But now looking at her on this Viper, I don't know when is the last time I've seen her on chamber. It's been, I don't even think I've seen her on this on the chamber, excuse me, on this Viper. So it's gonna be such a difference to see her play this controller. Let's see whether or not she's gonna be doing that. So what do you guys think, casters?
Map number 2 is what we have right here. Tayror and Realize as your casters for today. And Realize, the panel mentioned it already, when it comes to the agent compositions that we have right here, it's a double duelist on the side of XIPTO, and also for the side of BOBA here, we do see a Cypher on their hands.
Yeah, but to be honest, if I have to be honest, I am I'm concerned for BOBA.
Why?
I mean, XIPTO split, it is so good, but yeah, sometimes they fumble in the first few rounds, but then when they start getting their groove, when they're on their stride, they are unstoppable, especially the deadly duo of Alexi and Enery. You know how far they can go, you know how explosive they can be, especially when given the time and space to get the entries, and then you have the race to naturally counter the Cypher. It just eases the I would say the task of the Jet to get into the site. I mean, when you have two high mobility agents like the Jet, like the Raid, the Cypher just becomes what, useless, I'd say.
And I do think as well that at least they do have a Viper here coming in from BOBA, and who knows, this day might be the day that the Tripwires catches a lot of the players from XIPTO. Remember, they're a hyper-aggressive team, and sometimes you leave doors open for some executes and some even cheeky position or angles for BOBA.
Indeed. And for the time being, they're just poking away and looking to not commit so fast, because now Alexi is going to crawl up into B site. Luca just having a peek and tapping away inside the smoke. She lingers, shrouded behind that smoke, and this paranoia could do a lot of damage with the paint shell as well. It connects, and Alexi gets taken down, the first victim in the chopping block for BOBA. And now the players of XIPTO, they try to waterfall into the side. Ayumi is there to tap away behind the smoke. Aluka gets two, and Shirazi is going to be able to take down Aluka, but Tara with the huge double kill. It's just Elbisky and Baby TZ now.
They tried to flood in the site along XIPTO here, but at the same time, they lose the duels. And now Bilski left alone to try and fight for her life. She goes for the swing, gets one, but not the second here. Very low HP for Tara. Actually one, but it's just not enough. XIPTO to take away this pistol round.
My goodness. XIPTO, even if they lost Alexi, they're still able to march into the side. And this is the advantages. This is one of the, you know, I'd say the luxury of bringing two duelists is the fact that when you have one explosive power gone, you still have your second barrel. You still have that raise up and running, even without the satchels. You can always zone out players with the paint shells, and just the presence of Raze kind of strikes fear in the heads of BOBA. And now XIPTO looking to control middle.
Mid control, as you say it. One hiding beneath the smokes as well that was set up, and that's Bilski to catch Alexi here. A good start for the side of BOBA. They want to take a thrifty away here. A good pick off, and now mid control. They know, they're aware there's going to be some players towards mid, but very low on the HP is Ayumi. And on the right side, they clear that out. Even with the paranoia together, that you don't even need the paranoia any longer.
Indeed. And for XIPTO, they open up this site, but still with casualties. Two down, the satchel looking to just take down Baby TZ. Delbisky shot away from her demise, and she dies in the hands of Enery. Blood on her hands, and Aluka is on the blacklist, bounty hunted by the players of XIPTO. And they relinquish and lose their eco rounds, but still, it is something expected because XIPTO, they have far better weapons.
Not too bad though when it comes to the eco round that they just had here. Very much taking away so much value from this round as well. Making sure there's at least two remaining players from XIPTO. Yeah, they were able to take the plant, but as much as you can get away from XIPTO, you have to make sure you get it away from them already. Because of that, they do have half armors, half shields from the two players here of BOBA. And for XIPTO, they were only able to take away one Vandal and a Spectre.
And Alexi now looking to just pray down through that mailroom area, and this time mid control sees pretty deeply because they have full control of that vents area, because last round they traversed back towards mail. This time it opens up a possibility for them to rotate to A and even B. So this is why pivotal, and this is why mid control is so pivotal in split. This is why it is so significant. It gives you so much space, so much route to just explore your possibilities. And for BOBA, they are not going to contest this because they know it is much more sensible to just fight XIPTO inside.
Good awareness from Cameo as well to shut down at least the camera here from Kohaibi towards Heaven B. And that leaves some of the players of BOBA, specifically Ayumi, having to watch male control, and now they go vents. This is the perfect snake bite to try and stop them to their toes. They might need to revert back all the way from A main. They might catch one even, but the Bisky was able to take away one kill.
Yeah, and now they just march into the side. Maybe TZ gets one, but the trade is good. Alexi gets another, but it's gonna be Camille there with the kills. The bullets miss, strays away. Naomi will be punished for that. And XIPTO, if you slack, they will punish you. BOBA yet to get a score in their scoreboard.
Very unfortunate as well. If you think about it, they were able to catch Camille, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, towards that tripwire. They tried to react to it. Kohaibi swings out, tries to get the kill. But with XIPTO, you have to assume there's always going to be that trade follow-ups coming in, and that's exactly how they win these rounds that we have right now. They played heavy default from the start because of the guns, but as much info as they can get, like you mentioned, if you give them the space, they will be happy to take it.
Yeah, and now this time, they are fed up. They want control. They want to play aggressively, but that aggressiveness will stab them from the backs and betray them. And this time, XIPTO, they ease past the A site. Kohaibi and Aluka having to respond to the callings from XIPTO as they call the players of BOBA one by one. And this time around, I don't think there will be a clutch attempt. This will just pure exit frags. And Alexi with the operator. Yeah, already. And I would argue that operator and attacking side on Split is so hard to execute. Like, Split is just way too small of a map to make the operator viable. But this time Shirazi tiptoeing unnoticed from the back will get the headshot, but doesn't expect the second player to be there. Meanwhile, Kohaibi spotted out, and Shirazi will hunt her down. But a spray from Shirazi misses. Ayumi will capitalize on the whiff, but XIPTO still, they reign supreme. 4 rounds straight in regulation.
Very clean 4-0s coming in from XIPTO here. Plus the operator in play, as you mentioned, on the attacking side here. I do feel like it suits the playstyle that we're seeing right now coming in from XIPTO. You have another player to be the duel or the main duelist to make that entry happen anyway, which is a Neri. And once that distraction and that chaos happens towards the side, you have Alexi standing her ground from way back, making sure she gets pickoffs here. Not other than that, they do like gaining that advantage when it comes to first pickoffs. So let's see how this would end up as they try to push in again, triggered by that trip war. And Neri will fall down, but there's going to be another player hopping out and flying in. Delbisky good for 1. We're left with a 5v3 in favor of the BOBA.
No, Alexi with the headshot as well. Kohaibi will be quick on the response, but still, XIPTO losing bodies, losing blood, and losing momentum. But the spike ushered into the site, not yet going to be planted. Ayumi gets her hands on the operator this time around as she marks that elbow area. The paranoia connects onto 2. No follow-up given, and none taken as well. BOBA just going to play on the back of this retake, and Alexi and Camille given time and space to work with. Elbow seized control, subjugated, and 2 players gone. They lose their heads. Kohaibi with the low HP. 1v2. Now Alexi has to clutch this. Showstopper pop. Alexi dances in the wide open, dashes into the side, sprays down. Sadly, this time she has to lose her life, and BOBA, they break the deadlock as they get their first round.
Not today, as they say it. They had to pull out the showstopper just to make sure that they have enough space to make that defuse happen and really trigger Alexi out of her position here. But at the same time, that tailwind saved her life. At the end of it, she still has to make a reset happen. Would have been a pretty wild clutch, but then again, you see BOBA in a 4-man retake scenario here. I do feel like if they get the trades right here as well, realize, especially the double swings to make sure they have the upper hand or upper advantage, that will be huge for BOBA, but a good start for them, at least a 4-1.
I think for BOBA, they have to maximize this defender side. especially when you know that split is much more defender-sided. But then again, if you have two duelists, you can still work your way in the attacker side. And meanwhile, again, mid-control never contested, always conceded by BOBA. And there you go with the dink coming in towards Luca. The pain shells connects, and Enery zones out the players of BOBA. This time Luca having to reposition down the site, looking for a tap with the Guardian, working her way on it. But the Blade Storm will do the work for Terra, or rather for Alexei. The spray down connects for Kahibi, only good for one. The Viper's Pit already flooding the B site.
Still 3 players remaining here for BOBA. They start off with the Trailblazer. Not really gonna find anyone from that. Alexei has good positioning when it comes to the op, but then again, Baby TZ knew better. And as the snake bite goes in, the follow-ups is what we're looking at here. BOBA still trying to find any play, any space to really create an execution for this post-plant scenario coming in from XIPTO, but Ineri just holding down the fort. She gets 2, and now the shotgun to the face. As Shirazi closes the round, we are on to a 5-1.
Oh my goodness, XIPTO again just asserting dominance. And even if this map isn't closed out yet, this raises questions of how good XIPTO is. I mean, we've always talked about how BOBA is the closest, or you can say the arch nemesis of XIPTO, and how they can be the giant slayers. But how do you slay this giant of XIPTO if they're playing this clean, if they're playing this discipline? And how long would it take for XIPTO to finally lose, to finally be on the verge of defeat, if BOBA is also just rattled and played around by XIPTO?
It's their map pick here, realize. We also have to think about that as well. Plus, again, you have 2 players to really execute going towards the site, and it's not like the rest of the player here are not heavy hitters. As we say that, Ineri already all the way towards the site, and no one even noticed as fast as she can get. Camus planting the spike already, very much open for them in this post-plant scenario. 1 orb away for Ineri to have that showstopper again.
Yeah. Yumi and Luca already gone, and they peek out towards spawn.
Wow.
And this is not going to be a hard round for XIPTO, because again, BOBA on the disadvantaged side because they don't have that weapon advantage, and XIPTO with the flawless round as they look to build their economy. I mean, 6k, 4k, 5k on the players of XIPTO means that they can have that generational wealth they're looking for in like the next 2 or 3 rounds. But for BOBA, it's getting harder for them to contain the aggressiveness of XIPTO.
Definitely true. I mean, Ineri has that showstopper ready already for this next round that she was able to punish 2 a while ago. But Ayumi, she had good positioning. The thing is, once she swings out, she wasn't expecting 2 players waiting for her.
Oh, showstopper! And it catches Delbisky.
Unbelievable.
And I feel like Delbisky would have survived if she was not on low HP. The Baby TZ looking to just hide behind the smoke. Can she catch 2 people? No, she couldn't. Camille will be quick on the response and quick to turn her back to Hybe though. Last player standing no more. Again, back-to-back flawless rounds for XIPTO. This time, BOBA with the weapons needed.
It has also to consider as well, realize that pretty much for XIPTO here, they're just playing how they wanted to play. They're really playing out the map here, and they are in full control in whatever happens currently. And you see BOBA just waiting patiently towards side takes here, making sure Paranoia coming in from Aluka connects perfectly if it can, but it's not really working out. They have to really get at least a little bit of a space here, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. Even orb control, pretty much whatever value you can find.
Oh, a tap from Kahibi. Replies towards Terra saying, I could also kill. But then Terra gets the 2. And this is looking so good as XIPTO. They're coming up roses now. Alexei just pushing out screens, and Ayumi will close one out. Alexei gets a Luca. Ayumi next on the chopping block, and Alexei gets 2 bites of the cherry. And Camille will be the one taking down Baby TZ. XIPTO, flawless, and this time only losing one player.
How is she even getting those kills when she's the one who's supposed to be in the other side of it? You know, the advantage was definitely, especially the positioning that she had was halfway through the smoke. Couldn't see anyone, but still managed to pull off kills like that coming in from Alexi here. 8-1 is what we're looking at here right now, Realize. And from the shadows is the only ultimate available for XIPTO right now. Baby TZ still has that Viper's Pit, but then again, with 2 players out missing for BOBA, when will you be able to use this? I mean, you have mid control, yeah, but A main is pretty much open for XIPTO to take.
Yeah, Ayumi 2 orbs away from the showstopper.
Look at
Baby
Alexi
TZ
too.
already popping it, but Alexi with the movements towards B side. It's all a ruse. Con artist, and that is XIPTO, but Aluka will take 2 down with her towards the grave. Alexi though responds a 2v2 now, and BOBA with their running shoes running towards B side.
Well executed from XIPTO here, making BOBA think twice what their next steps are going to be, as Alexi is very deep and going for that late lurk potential towards Heaven Control. It's an open plant here, Realize. They have really good positioning. With that paranoia, this also perfectly connects, but at the same time, the timing is what they're wanting to take off. Aluka, on the other hand, spotted out, but this smoke is helping her. She has to defuse the spike. She's just sticking it. And sticking it right in the face of Alexi.
Bros never fake. And Aluka, the faithful, shall be rewarded. And she rewards BOBA with their second round. Not much, but it is much needed. And BOBA, they could replicate the same scoreline in Lotus in the first half, and that is going to be their best case scenario, because you don't want to give XIPTO the 10th round. You don't want to give them that 9-3 curse of possibly opening up even more and greater horizons in this map, as this is their map pick, like what you said, Tay.
Ayumi has that showstopper ready, but Ineri already all the way towards ramps. Baby TZ, she knows what she's expecting here. Boombot pretty much very close on her and didn't actually find her as well, so this might be a pretty good position to hold on to. Aside from that, from XIPTO's positioning, it's more of that push and pull. They want to pull the rotations coming in towards A, but wait a minute.
Yeah, the push and pull just to bait out the utilities, but XIPTO going to make their way towards A side. Alexi looks at the barrel of the gun of Baby TZ, catches her obliviously, and Kahaibi looking to instill more damage, but it's enemy just putting on the hurting on multiple players of BOBA. And Kahaibi gets one, looking for Shirazi, the headshot. They line up for her. Alexi, though, will catch the trade. Kahaibi now bestowed upon her is the burden to clutch this round, but the spike is planted for Heaven. Terra with the blind. Alexi just jumps forward, jump peeks this. And Kahaibi will stick to the half. No, she won't get the half. The one-way smoke is beautiful. Alexi is just playing with her food. Kahaibi, she submits herself to the players of BOBA, or rather towards the players of XIPTO. And the 9th round is secured.
Oh man, that pulse plan scenario just perfectly played out here in the hands of XIPTO. And again, if you want to clutch out around here, Realize, you want to have a controller available. At least one controller, you know? And that's exactly how Aluka, for example, was able to win 1 round away from XIPTO here. But having 2 players available, alive for XIPTO, one being a controller, you set up a one-way smoke, it's a done deal at that point.
Yeah, fate sealed, and so is the round. And this time they can seal the double digits if they want, because B side is under attack. Then Aluka will be covered by Kahaibi. The paranoia doesn't connect. The showstopper from Ayumi. They're biting back. They're fighting back. And XIPTO have to evacuate from B, or will they? Because 2 players still just locking in into that B main. A momentary lull from both teams, but XIPTO now with a heavier task to work with.
2 players down for them, and it's the heavy hitters as well. The double duelist, the deadly duo, literally dead at this point. Ayumi holding position with a Bucky. And Tara might just have to go away with the rest of the team. Try to make and create space on another part, another side of the map, as 3 players are already stacked in and locked in when it comes to B side as well. Mid control and Baby TZ might be the first contact here.
Yeah. And now looking to just inch closer
30
by
seconds left.
XIPTO. They lose their 2 main duelists. So of course, it's going to be quite hard for them to barge into the site. Terra is popping up the smoke, looking to zone out Baby TZ, but the
that
snake
hurts.
bite splits them into 2. Luca lines up the shots. Camille will be able to respond. Baby TZ step forward in time, and Camille with the heavy task of clutching won't get it. 9-3. Will the curse happen? But XIPTO, they close out first half comfortably.
Definitely comfortably is what we are looking at here. But it's halftime now, so we're passing you on to our hosts, Tash and Zach. How's it going out there?
It's going chaotically. Thank you so much, Tay, as well as Realize. It's a very exciting one. 9-3, I believe it was the half, which is a really good one if you come forward. Curses or not, there is still a lot to talk about this, because when we talk about BOBA right now, one of the biggest thing I'm seeing right now is the inconsistent timing. The timing of rotation is not quite there compared to how well and how fluid the team of XIPTO are able to play off each other.
For sure, I think the rotations, like you said, are really problematic. I think that yes, I do think that for BOBA, like you said, timing's not really working out. A lot of them really being caught out of position, and I think some are just played unlucky. Like your barrel was sticking out and stuff like that. Not really anything that you can do apart from, like, you know, positioning yourself a little bit better, I suppose. And you know, that's one side of the equation. So credit where credit is due. XIPTO, I mean, it's the norm for them, I know, but XIPTO are playing absolutely out of their mind, especially their duelists. Like we were talking about Alexi in that previous game on Fade. She had 25 kills. She already has 16, and it's been one half here, Tash, and Aneri is not far behind her. She had 14 by the end of the half, if I'm not wrong. So both duelists just popping off, the rest of the team like also stepping up where it needs to be. I think that the highest number of kills on BOBA so far is 8, and I think 4 of the players on XIPTO have at least 8. So that's like the differential right now that's going on. I hope that, you know, once that side switch happens, things come together. BOBA looks a little bit more synergized as a team. They're able to like keep varying up the pace like XIPTO were doing, because they were really thriving at that as well, changing the pace of the game.
Regardless, despite the opening picks that's looking really good from BOBA, whether or not they can kind of like tie it down is the question. Let's see whether or not they do this in the second half. Casters, on to you guys.
Thank you for that analysis, and yeah, it is indeed chaotic, but it is much more favored between XIPTO, because if you talk about chaos, sometimes it's upheaval and pandemonium for both teams. Sometimes it's
just
very
chaos.
hard. Yeah, it's the chaos. It's just the chaotic. I'm out of words for what happened in that first half, Tay.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that they're both willing to try and fight it out and duel it out, but XIPTO here, the aggression, it just pays off time and time again. Will we see another same aggression coming into the second half? Seems like it, because Ineri's already getting her heals.
Yeah, they are indeed very close towards that victory. And Ayumi with the flash, or rather, Lobisky with the flash. Baby TZ down on Luca. Getting that one kill, very important, but Alexi, she's still hiding below. The one-tap connects, she escapes death. She's able to cheat death with
No
that
way.
headshot as well. Baby
Camille still
TZ and
has the
Luca
heal too.
biting the bullet. Yeah, the heal is there as well from Camille. Registered towards Alexi if needs be. And XIPTO, they could make this a 10th round. Ayumi though, looking to hit towards Aneri. Shirazi takes down Delbisky 3v2. Ayumi and Kaibi, both hearts beating, but the pulses weakening. And Kaibi will pop the cam looking for information. And Shirazi re-aggresses, but Kaibi's still not dead yet. But the tap's coming in, and XIPTO double digits again. And how did Alexi survive?
she was just holding down, basically. She was waiting for a push. The thing is, for XIPTO, again, what they have here is good awareness when it comes to the teammates that they also see having a hard time. And Alexi was definitely having a hard time, especially with such a low HP. You see them covering for her until to the point where she can escape freely and at the same time get the heal going here. And that just allowed them to isolate the fights, especially with the spike being planted a little bit too late here for the side of BOBA. Everything was just pure chaos at this point, and XIPTO just ran away with it and was able to go away safely as well. With a 10-3, a double-digit lead, again, realize it's a little bit one-sided right now, but this pistol was pretty much needed for BOBA to win.
And XIPTO, they're just tap dancing at this point for BOBA. Again, having to face this eco round. I don't really like rounds like this. And Shirazi with the outlaw. Terra as well. Here. Putting the hurting. Adding insult to injury. Baby TZ down. Ayumi and Kahaibi both having to step up. But XIPTO stepping down on them. Shirazi with the outlaw. Working with the damage given towards her. And Kahaibi will be punished for her presence down in mid. XIPTO 11. And look, I told you I don't like these rounds because BOBA had to eco in that round and they can buy in this round. And if they lose in this round, they have to eco for the last round. So it's always going to be a loss-loss situation for them. And it's hard because XIPTO, they're just everywhere around the map.
Yeah, long story short, they have to win this round if they still want to push through the next set of rounds here as well. And they have to make sure that they don't lose Vandals that much as well. So it's really a tall order here for the side of BOBA, but let's see if they can do it. A perfect paranoia settling down, and Tara takes one down, but Kamiyu just moving way back, just making sure she makes a stop happen here. And XIPTO, despite the big of an advantage, not overheating.
Yeah, still holding their triggers. Close by though is Kamiyu. Oh, an outlaw tap, and Kamiyu will take her way into the side. It takes two to tango, and they tango beautifully. As Kahaibi will take down Kamiyu, but she's bleeding. She needs a bandage, but none given to her. Match point for XIPTO.
Match point.
What a dance coming in from XIPTO here as they take down BOBA yet again. I do feel like when it comes to this map, realize it's very important to really have mid control. It makes you at least wonder and think like what could have been as well if they had a little bit of an extra lurk when it comes to having control here. But I guess they want to send in full firepower potential going towards B main, but we all know a paranoia can set B main alone basically.
Yeah. A single paranoia just pushing them back. Spike wanting to be collected. And Ayumi, again with the same game plan, looking to control mid, but Shirazi now posted up upon, waiting to deliver. While Kahaibi just tapping away with the Guardian, looking to re-smoke down vents. But Shirazi unfazed. Still just moving like the brick wall she is. But Enery with Kamiyu will execute Ayumi. This could be the end for BOBA in map 1, rather map 2, and in the series, knocking them to the lower bracket if they don't save themselves right now. And then execute towards B side is awaited by Terra. Corpse.
Patience is key, and XIPTO still has that patience despite the big of an advantage. They do have a neural deft here, at least a little bit of a heal to make sure Kahaibi is up top. It's a 3v2 scenario. Can XIPTO isolate the fights yet again? Kahaibi has a good positioning here, but she doesn't take the shot in. Instead, Shirazi pins her down. Now it's all up to Delpisky, who's not going to be able to clutch it, and XIPTO wins 2-0.
Oh my goodness, XIPTO! They are your first grand finalists for VCT Game Changers Southeast Asia as they breeze past the players of BOBA. And this again raises the question, when will XIPTO lose? When will this team be defeated? Because it looks like they're so invincible. They are so immortal. And this just shows to you that the levels they have is way of a high level.
It takes a while, but at some point, at some degree, you always have that target on your back. Congratulations, though, for XIPTO to make it to the grand finals. But did we expect this? Probably yes. So at the same time, for BOBA, they still have that another opportunity here in the lower brackets. Realize we might be still seeing them in the grand finals. Who knows, right? But the second set of series of matches here is what's gonna take us to the next step, which is the grand finals later on, and of course the lower bracket. But this match, indeed, pretty much for XIPTO, they showed what they're capable of, the push and pull, the discipline coming in from the team despite the extra gap that they had here. It's just beautiful Valorant coming in from them.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. And for BOBA, I don't think they have to stress out that much because they have booked themselves a slot towards Bangkok. So yeah, still a possibility to fight their way into that and fix their mistakes. But of course, we want to throw it back to Tash and Zach for the analysis.
There you have it, our first not champions, but grand finalists here for the VALORANT Game Changers Southeast Asia. Wow, we are all just all over the place here, just like that game just now. And I am very excited to talk about it because when you look at that game just now, it does come down again. I hate saying this word, but it is just fundamentals at this point. The rotations, the timings, everything never been on BOBA's side, but the teamwork coming through, the fluidity coming in from XIPTO has been on a whole other level. XIPTO going undefeated still from their last loss, which is all the way in champions last year when they were on the SMG roster.
Yeah, XIPTO keeping up that pedigree of excellence, haven't dropped a map yet this year, and they continue, like you said, to maintain that feat. And it didn't even look like they broke a sweat while doing it. Like, it generally looked like Ineri and Alexi were just going and playing in like some pub lobby, you know, pub stopping poor immortal kids for fun. Jokes apart, though, I think that XIPTO, like you said, fundamentals looking really strong, map control excellent. They really control the pace of the game here. You could see that on the attack, they were going in for these quick, heavy executes. And then immediately a couple of rounds later, just completely cutting noise, going up for a walk down towards mid instead with all 5 players. And the rotations as well, it seemed like BOBA were always just unfortunately one step behind. You did see a couple of really nice rounds where, you know, they did get that initial first kill. And, you know, when Ayumi or Kohabi or even Aluka, they're able to lock in that first kill, it's such a huge difference because BOBA after that just play like a whole other team. But when they're constantly just one player down because of the antics of Alexi and Ineri, it's just really difficult for them to come back into the game, and it's especially difficult when it is your opponent's map. I mean, kudos to Kohabi and the rest of the team here. They did try their best, and 13-3, there were a lot of these rounds that were reasonably close. It was like a 1v2. There were a couple of rounds that BOBA also threw, for lack of a better word. I still vividly remember, like on the defensive side, there was a 2v4 retake round that completely fell apart for them. And yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? It's just really fundamentals, like you said.
Yeah, I think coming down as well into this, again, reminding everyone that when you look at excuse me. So when you look at how they've been playing here, is that when BOBA, they, again, it comes back to the fundamentals in the mid to end late games where, yeah, BOBA would maybe get an opening pick. Aluka was able to take 2 even sometimes in those opening rounds. But then suddenly those mid-round adjustments where you start to hear the calls coming through from XIPTO saying, okay, we're down 2, what can we do here to equalize? How can we go aggressive? And the thing is, they still go aggressive. They don't press the brakes, and it really just overwhelms the entirety of BOBA. And as for BOBA, a lot of the time it comes down to that small mistakes, the positioning, you know, being able to see the barrel of your gun from within the smokes. These are just tiny mistakes, but these mistakes are something that XIPTO thrives upon when it comes to those punishments. A lot of time you can see how the heat map goes. B site very dense with this.
Yeah, they've really liked taking that B side and trying to take control. I mean, A side as well, but once Kohabi started playing there, they were like, yeah, nah, we're not gonna deal with your tripwires and other stuff. We're just gonna go over to B where things seem a little bit more easy. Like I said, Aluka did her best, but against the Hurricane that is Alexi and Ineri, there's not really much you can do. And even in the rounds where they killed Alexi and Ineri, there was like always somebody else stepping up. Like in that pistol, Tara and Shirazi, they each got the kills in the opening pistol, and that's kind of like just the story of the XIPTO team, right? Like, we talk a lot about these individual stars and like Alexi, for example, how good she is, how insane her Arcadia is. Like, all right, just because, you know, somebody else in that game didn't have, like Kamiyu, for example, was a little bit quieter, it's not because she's not on the same level or something. It's just that the entire roster.
Yeah, I think once again, sometimes when you look at firepower, it seems that for XIPTO, you can put one player of XIPTO against 2 or 3 members of BOBA and they'll still be able to thrive. Very tiny little micro angles and adjustments they use, how they take a site together, their timing, look at how they crunch from 2 different sides, is just so on point. It's really hard to really play off of this when you're constantly getting shot at from 2 different angles, from 2 different players who are equally as sharp off each other. Yeah, we see big moments like a clutches to come through, Aluka sticking it, and I feel like, okay, sometimes their biggest problem, and this is what Baby TZ told me herself, is that their biggest problem right now is themselves, the overthinking, the overanalyzing, and this can become a detriment, and it starts to show, especially toward the second half of the game as well.
Yeah, for sure. It looked a little bit difficult, but I mean, at that point, I feel like, you know, you would rather just like get this over with than try to go into that lower bracket. There is another chance for you to make it to a grand finals and find some redemption, maybe take away a map or even take away that title. It's happened before, you know, and especially Sienna, she's just one of those unfortunately cursed players. I mean, you know, Alter Ego won every single tournament until the one that mattered the most. Now, that's not the case here because both teams have already qualified for that Pacific Championship. But, you know, for XIPTO in particular, I am very excited for Pacific because there is another team, Tash, in the Pacific region, or well, in the Japan region anyway, East Asia, which hasn't yet lost a series. They've lost a couple of maps, but they haven't lost a series yet, which is Zeta Division. So that's the one that I hope that we get to see here. But I do hope that we get to talk to some of these XIPTO players because that was a fantastic game.
Yeah, for now, you are right. We are going to be talking to a XIPTO player. We have Tara on the line. And I'm really excited to have a chat with her because we usually are talking to maybe Alexi or even a Neri. Now coming into this one, for you guys who didn't know, Tara is the newest addition to this team. There we go. Hi, Tara. How are you? Happy to see you here back on the big stages. Now, I did talk a little bit to your team about, you know, your return to the big stages, and they did say that you. Hi, Alexi. And you know, and they did say that you had actually, you know, kind of like dropped life to be able to compete again. Can you tell me a little bit about why you decided to do so?
I feel like I needed something like more thrill because for the time I retired, right, like the 1 year gap is basically I'm just doing nothing and just waiting, you know, and then when they asked me, I mean, I was free and I'm excited to play with them because the last year I never get to play with them even though I wanted to, so like, yeah.
I'm really excited to see you here playing. So let's talk a little bit about your transition into the team. I think Split 1, I think there was a lot of chatter about how you weren't able to keep up with the pacing of your team. Everyone was so fast. I could tell you were struggling to keep up with them. But now in Split 2, you seem to have transitioned in very, very fine. You look very comfortable as well as sharp. So can you tell us a little bit about what the process was to transition from Split 1 Tara to Split 2 Tara?
My coach just told me to keep trying and just keep practicing because progress will show, right?
Aww.
Yeah. So like, just keep practicing, just put more time into it, just, you know, be confident in yourself and like, yeah.
All right. So sorry, I was gonna ask,
gotta.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I got a question for you, Tara. So firstly, congrats on your win today. So, you know, being IPO for a team like this with such absolutely insane crack players, you know, does it kind of feel like you're playing chess with, like, you know, god tier pieces? Like, how is like the calling in your team? Like, do you tell them what to do exactly, or is it like more of a team contribution thing?
Actually, they're smart players too. For me, I just do the micromanaging. Like what I do most is just basically reading what the enemy might do and telling them what might happen and like guiding them into which one I want to go to. But they all have their own ideas also, and I will never stop them from doing their ideas because I mean, they're good players also. I don't want them to be like, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, and then they lose their confidence, you know. I want them to be a player that's like, you know, the best versions of themselves.
Aww. I love that. I love hearing that. Zach, do you have another question?
I actually do. Okay, this is more of a fun question. You know, I'll let Tash handle the more serious ones, but this is a fun one. So, according to you, who is the most likely player on your team to overheat?
I think it's Alexi.
You're right.
Princess
Alexi is very fast. Alexi is like, I mean, she's really a good player, but sometimes she can hold. Like if the team is overheating, she's the one that's just the most calm, you know. So like, I feel like once or twice it's okay. I mean, overheating for me is like, there will be a time that it will happen to any one of us lah. So it's okay. I guess just the other teammates must cover that mistake lah. That's how I feel about it.
I love hearing that. Love hearing that. Now, final question here coming forward. You are the first finalists going into the finals tomorrow. So, what are your expectations going to tomorrow, and how nervous are you as your first time playing with this, second time coming to this team and to the grand finals?
I mean, I'm excited to play, but I mean I'm still nervous because like the only tournament we're playing is this, like, so I still have like the nervousness and all, but my teammates here are helping me go through all that, and then like I don't know, I just feel they're very, how say, what's the word for it, you know, they're
Wholesome?
very
Supportive?
yeah, they're very wholesome, they're very kind, yeah, so it's okay.
All right, I love to hear it. Thank you so much, Tara, for spending time with us here, and congratulations again on your very dominant win. Say hi to the girls for me. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
She's so cool.
She is so cool, and she's also very awesome. Hearing about her coming back from retirement to play again was a very exciting one, especially after Shirazi had told me a little bit of that story, you know, dropping life just for this because she wanted that thrill. I think that's the life of a pro player, and we love to see it. Speaking of that, that will be the end of our first series of the day. XIPTO, BOBA 2-0, very, very dominant. Honestly, I was expecting a 2-1, but you know, after what we saw,
I wouldn't
you
go
know,
that far.
yeah, I wouldn't go that far because XIPTO is just such a very, very experienced team going forward all the way till the end. I think for BOBA, they do have a ways away to go, but it's very exciting to see other teams as well really step up here in the Valorant Game Changer Southeast Asia. We see, you know, teams like Invincible really bring XIPTO all the distance. We see Sisu coming in from third last split this time around, really challenging BOBA. That's also very, very exciting. And speaking of Sisu, we are going to be seeing them, excuse me, after this. Sisu Esports versus For Fun, a team that did not even qualify last split. So it's going to be very exciting to see this one and who makes it into that third place spot. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going for a quick break. When we come back, more Valorant Game Changers Southeast Asia.